How's it going, y'all? Welcome to 5D Lifestyles. We're talking about fungus and we're talking about worms and the synergy that happens between the two, right? And so I'm going to show you my worm bins. These are the same bins that are in past videos. Feel free to check those out. I'll link a few in the description. I've talked about how, using worms is a great thing with your spent blocks. I'm going to give you a few other reasons why every mushroom grower should also be a worm farmer, right? Since I did that, worm salad video, it's been probably like 5, almost 6 months. I meant to change this at 4. My worms have been expanding and growing, and this is my first reason why every fungus farmer should be also a vermiculturist. Is because I got these bins right by my grow room, right? And so when I clean out my grow room, that's pretty much the little bit of food I've been delivering them after I did the initial onslaught. Is like when you grow shiitakes and you're going for that second flush, you got to get that, the stems right down to the block. So often I'll cut a little away from the block when I'm harvesting, and then I have to go back when I clear the room and cut right fine. So I tend to have a lot of stem buds or a lot of debris falling out those blocks, and having these worm bins right outside, I can just immediately deliver those to the worms. And gang, I just want to show you what's going on in here. I'm gonna go from where I got, I roughly did a pile about right here. I don't see any of those stem buds anymore. What I do see is just a lot of wormies, right? You see those on there? So that's where the stem buds were. I mean, look at this soil. It's rich. It's happy with worms. You see them cruising on there? I can't find where those things were because they ate them so fast. They love the mushroom substrate. Can you see these? We're gonna have to do some stuff specifically for. So this is full of worms and full of mushroom debris turning into substrate. Now, so I'm going to do a re-up of substrate, and this is the other huge reason why you should have worms if you're a mushroom grower. If you're just getting into growing mushrooms, I've got some news for you. You're going to fail, all right? What's up, stud? You want to come over here? I got my way. You're going to fail, all right? You're going to have tons of fails. I've been doing this for 7, 8 years. You see the worms? I've been growing mushrooms for 7, 8 years. You're going to have failures, right? It's just part of the thing. And if you're just failure is only a failure, then it's a failure, and that's a bummer. The one thing you do get is you get to learn, right? And you get to become a better mushroom grower, and that's part of it, right? Cool. But the other thing is what to do with that substrate, right? So yes, 8 years in, I'm still failing. I had a great experiment. I thought it was a great experiment of growing shaggy mane, y'all. And yeah. What is this? This is highly dosed goat manure with shaggy mane mycelium. I thought, this was an experiment. It's important to experiment. I did this with, it was some of my first experimentations with using lime, hydrated lime, as a pasteurization. I'm like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if I could pasteurize with hydrated lime on manure? And it didn't work. But I'm not bummed, right? Because I grow worms and I'm like, oh my gosh, the worms are gonna love this. There's some other bacteria or fungus in here. There's probably some leftover mycelium of the shaggy mane. It's a nice mixture of the spawn, like sawdusty sugarcane thing, mixed with a bunch of goat manure. So I'm stoked because my failure is dinner for the worms, and it's a benefit for the worms. So it's nice, right? When you're growing, I'm going to. It's nice when you can have things that are a pest or a problem for one thing be a total benefit for another. So that is one of my main reasons, right? This is manure, but this was a sawdust fail. You can see there's some mycelium still on the top. There's some trichoderma, some green, some black pin molds in here, and a bunch of sawdust, right? For me, in the fungal world, it was a bummer, right? But for me in the gardening / worm growing world, this is awesome. This is an asset. It's full of a bunch of different molds and bacterias and myceliums the worms are going to turn this fail into glorious, awesome soil and more worms, right? And so I encourage you to become a worm farmer. And then, yeah, you can turn failures into successes, right? The last thing is something I've talked about in other videos. Your spent blocks, your successful spent blocks, boom, can turn into amazing garden soil, right? So highly recommend getting worms in the mix. Any comments, questions, concerns, please go for that. What I'm gonna do today is, in one of those other videos, this side was filled with the old substrate. And I was like, oh, guess what, guys? Like, you just put the older stuff over there and the newer stuff over here, and they move over. And it didn't work out that way. There's still a ton of worms in this old stuff. I do want to use it, but right now I'm just a little behind the game, and I'm just trying to amass my worms. So what I'm going to do is do a three-part thing. I'm going to move the oldest stuff tight against the wall, move the newest stuff into the middle, and then do all this new stuff on the far side. Maybe it will move over, but I'm not holding my breath. I am going to figure out an easy way to separate these worms from the substrate. And I'm going to put that on there. So yeah, very exciting. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.